All right, this is session 5. Let's get started. We're still talking about where to get the papers, the law library, and online resources. This is the top of page 14. Let's hit it. Okay. It says, the first bullet point, they will usually have a list, meaning the law librarians will usually have a list of online resources, which are usually websites, you can go to for free or low-cost legal advice. And it's usually a pamphlet or a list, or a sheet of paper that they hand out. So absolutely ask for that. That should be one of the first things that you ask for as soon as you walk through the door of the law library. Hey, do you have a list of free resources or low-cost resources of websites reliable websites that you can get information like frequently asked questions, forms that you may need, explanations about different areas of the law, articles that explain different areas of the law. So absolutely don't forget to ask that. So put a big star next to that. Next bullet point says, librarians can also tell you where other court staff and courtrooms are located inside the courthouse. They're very, very useful. If you're not sure where something's located, you're trying to figure out something, absolutely ask them. They are wonderful. Next bullet point says, law librarians are a wonderful resource. Be nice to them. I know some people come in, and when I used to go to the law library a lot, and some people, they're just so scared and frustrated and anxious, and sometimes they are not kind to law librarians. And so, please don't let that be you. They are, again, a wonderful resource. They are very tolerant. They are so used to people who represent themselves coming in and asking questions, and they are usually very, very patient. And they know that you're scared. And they know that, you don't know everything. You're not a lawyer. And so they're usually very attentive and very patient with you. They're very patient. So absolutely be nice to them. The next bullet point says, pamphlets and brochures available for more helpful information, like filing for a divorce. So, ask them specifically, do they have pamphlets on filing for divorce for people who represent themselves? Okay, the next bullet point says online resources. Online resources. It says, do an internet search for legal help for low income residents in your state. And I'm sure you're probably asking, why would I do that? I don't fit that description. And so in just a second, I'm going to share my screen with you and show you, an example how to do that. But you want to do that because they'll have frequently asked questions. They'll have free online forms that you can use, and maybe you can either not have to go to the law library initially, and maybe able to just from the comfort of your home, just go ahead and pull down the forms that you'll need. Because sometimes you can just call the law library and say, hey, this is another good tip. This is a bonus here, okay? If you look up the law library, the telephone number, and call the law library even before you go down there, they may also tell you, hey, yeah, there's basic forms on this website. You don't even have to come down here yet. Go ahead and download those, Word documents and work on them themselves. And a lot of times they'll show you also that there are articles. Sometimes they're also, when I mentioned before, they have a list of websites. A lot of times they'll just email that to you. They already have it as a PDF or Word document on their computer. They can just go ahead and email that to you. So think about ways to make this easier for yourself. Absolutely do that. I can't think of any law librarian that wouldn't do that. So absolutely ask. Call and ask first before you go down there. Okay, so let me, the next bullet point says, websites for low-income residents will usually have forms and other information that's very helpful to you. So that's why you're doing that. Okay, and let's take a look. Okay, so this is the website for Legal Aid of Northwest Texas. This is the legal organization that's dedicated to helping Texas low-income residents. And so you'll see at the top of the left-hand corner there, it says Get Help. We're about to click on that tab. And the drop down, we're going to go down to where it says Self-Help. And we're going to click on that. And here's a self-help page. And here it has links to information that you'll find very, very helpful. Have different categories like information on statutes, which are different areas of the law, information about cases, articles summarizing an area of the law. You're going to find that very, very helpful if you have specific questions about the law. Answers to frequently asked questions. Most important, do-it-yourself court forms. Yes, and interactive tools and more. So let's click on that link. Okay, and here it has ask a question. Okay, and let's look to see what options they have. Okay, it looks like probably some of these options like live chat, you probably have to qualify to use them, but something like an question and answer bank probably is open to everyone. And so they also have Texas legal answers, things like that. So let's click on Texas legal answers. Okay, free legal answers. Okay, how it works. Okay, all right. So here you do have to qualify. It says see if you qualify, answer a few questions to see if you qualify to use this service. Okay, so this one you do have to have an income qualification. But if we go back, here it says question and answer bank. Okay, here it looks like anyone can use it. You just click on the link to the question that you have, and there'll be probably articles or a short answer or explanation for what you need. Okay, so let's go to forms, legal information and forms, and click on that. That's really where you're going to find most helpful. Court basics. This will also give you kind of the lay of the land, give you overall understanding. Let's go to the family, divorce and children. And if we scroll down, you'll see there's different categories here, which are very, very helpful. And you look to see which one fits your situation more. I need a divorce. We do not have minor children. So if that's your situation, you click on that, and it will tell you, it'll have the forms, and it'll also give you an explanation of how to fill out the forms. Let's scroll down. It says, I need a divorce. We have minor children. We have children who are under 18. Here is the toolkit that tells you if you have children under 18, how to get custody, all that. It says, I need a divorce. We have minor children. This is unusual, and a final custody and support order has already been in place. Every once in a while this does happen, but it's not all that common. But here it gives you the information in the forms to, if that is your situation. Here is another part. If you're on the other side of this, your husband is the one who filed for divorce. This will give you answers and forms on how to answer the documents that he filed. So that's important. And also will give you explanation on how to fill out the forms. And it tells you about your options. So all of that is so important. This is the same information that you would get at the law library. Here, I just clicked on here as an example, one where you don't have young children. Here it has instructions and forms. If you have an agreed divorce, if you have a divorce where you are arguing it's a fault divorce. Here's other frequently asked questions. What if your spouse doesn't live in Texas? Remember, we talked about that in class or session number 2. What if your spouse has already filed for divorce? I'm afraid of my spouse, if you need a protective order. But this website is extremely helpful if you live inside of Texas, and I bet they have one in your state. Okay, the next bullet point says your state bar association. Okay, check their website to see if they have an attorney referral program. If they do, and most states do, you can usually get a 30-minute consultation for $50 or under $50. And here in Texas, if you go to the Texas State Bar website, you can click on get an attorney or attorney referral. You will see that is either a telephone number, or you can go ahead and submit it online, a request. And they'll just ask you, where you live, what's the issue, and they'll pair you up with an attorney in your area. And you can get 30 minutes here in Texas for $20. That's a steal. Okay, so number 1 underneath that says, write down your questions before the consultation. Write down your questions before the consultation. And a lot of times they will give you a consultation over the phone. You make sure, they'll take your credit card payment for $20 first before they do that. But, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have to go to their office. Okay, number 2, which is the last thing on page 14, it says, your questions should be listed in order of importance, because those 30 minutes go quick. And so you want to make sure that if you run out of time, your most important questions are answered first. All right. So that's session 5. I know it was a whole lot, but you're doing good. Let's move on to session number 6.